I feel like he's one of the most manipulative mastermind people of it all, but I feel like he can literally go up to an old woman, stab her in her front, look in her face, smile, and say, "Hi, how are ya?" And you heifers wouldn't blink an eye!
Falling. Oh, I fought so hard for you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be filming. I don't want to do a long intro because someone said in one of my other videos that I do really long intros, and I didn't think that I did. But look at me talking and doing exactly what I'm saying that I'm not going to do. Today I just wanted to come on here and do a unpopular opinions video. You guys, I literally love watching unpopular opinions. I don't know what it is. I feel like sometimes opinions that, I guess I like listening to people who have like, this is gonna sound so like, I'm not like other girls, but like I like hearing other sort of like controversial opinions, because I feel like sometimes people will think the same way for the sake of just like fitting in, or for the sake of going with the flow, or for the sake of, why is my eye twitching? Do you guys see that? My eyes literally, it just did something weird. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I love watching these videos. I love watching Kai Foster's unpopular opinion videos. They're literally my favorite. And I feel like they used to be more like, at a point everybody was making unpopular opinion videos, like that Tana Mojo phase where everybody just had unpopular opinions. But yeah, some of these opinions may not necessarily be unpopular. They may be controversial at best. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I didn't make a list or anything, so I'm just gonna kind of rant. Hopefully I don't go on too long. So my first opinion is an astrology opinion, I guess, if you're into the astrology world or whatever. I feel like Cancers get a really bad rep. I really do. I feel like a lot of people feel that Cancers are super emotional and whiny, but in all actuality, they're some of the most like strong people. They're really just empaths, and because they're so empathetic and they can really like channel other people's emotions, feelings, thoughts, and like stuff so much, I feel that they get very overwhelmed and they're very sensitive, but they're not really weak. I feel like it takes like a strong person to handle a lot of emotions being thrown at them in one moment, and I feel like I admire that so much. But that's kind of like a whole nother different video that I should make. Second opinion, Tinder. Let me sip a little bit of this. Tinder is not that bad. Tinder is not that bad. I don't feel that everyone collectively uses Tinder, but I feel like there's a stigma associated with like Tinder and like dating apps as a whole. A lot of people will go through them and like have really bad experiences and be like trashing the whole institution of like dating apps, but that's a bag of crap, and I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, there are so many people who have actually found, I'm not currently using any dating apps, but there are so many people that have actually found love via dating apps. But I feel that a lot of people get on these apps and they don't go about them the right way. Number one, I would say the biggest con I feel like to dating apps is you're meeting so many people that it's kind of hard to give everyone a fair chance. Especially like with Tinder, you'll match with like, in any given day, just like a quick little swipe session, you'll probably match with at least like 10 people, like just sitting down. And within that time, it's hard to appropriately kind of like talk to everyone and give them the effort that you may give to the next person. And maybe the person that you're kind of overlooking, because the conversation is dry, is also talking to like 20 other people, and because of that they can't really give you their best like sort of conversation. It's just weird. Like, that's the hardest part about it. But I feel like people who don't really have the best of luck with it aren't going about the process properly. Reason being, a lot of people will go on Tinder, they'll match with a couple of people, talk for like 3 days, and then like link up. Personally, as for me, when I did use the app, I feel as if you should at least talk to that person, and some people may say this is a long time, at least for 2 weeks before you even link up. Reason being, a lot of the stuff that you may want to know that are going to be like deal breakers for you, you can figure out within like the first week of talking. But you guys rush the process so much that you end up wasting your time and putting energy and resources and time into someone that you're just not compatible with. And I don't know, I also feel like it's a cool way to meet a lot of people. Like, I'll personally say, as for me, there's a friend, I'll call him A, that I still talk to. Like, every now and then we'll talk, and like, nothing has ever happened like romantically with the both of us, but I feel like we're just there like to talk to each other when either one of us gets lonely or either one of us gets bored. Like, we could just hold a conversation, and I think that's super dope. It's also really nice, and I feel like it takes out the social friction of putting yourself in like social settings that make you uncomfortable. I just like the idea of meeting people from my bedroom. Like, I think that's super dope. I think it's a fun app. I think it's cool. There's nothing wrong with using it, but just tread carefully, you guys. It's not that bad if you use a little bit of wisdom when it comes to like discerning who you should put time into and who you shouldn't put time into. I don't think it's that bad. Some people are literally just there for friends. Some people are there for hookups. A lot of people are there for hookups. I will not negate that, but not everyone. You know what I mean? I did a story on it, wrote about it. Yeah, kind of something I like to discuss. Another unpopular opinion. This one, oh my god, I just thought about this one. I feel like, let me put my coffee down, because wait a freaking minute. I feel like I can't even believe I'm about to say this out loud. Like, this is always an opinion that I thought but I've never voiced. I feel like the Kardashians are not that bad. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait a damn minute. What?
I feel like they get a lot of flack for a lot of stuff that is like beyond their control. Like, let me explain, because I feel like either people are gonna immediately register with what I'm saying, or people are gonna immediately be on the defense, because Kardashians is like so black or white. I feel like black or white, black and white. I mean, look at me, I'm just being loose-lipped. But I feel as if like they get a lot of flack for stuff that they don't have control over, and they get a lot of hate because I feel like people are upset with the fact that they're just put on such a pedestal. But what you have to understand is, at the end of the day, they didn't build this pedestal and put themselves there. We did. I feel like, oh my god, I'm literally scared to say this. This is how you know this stuff is real. I'm just gonna say it. Nobody might even see this video. I feel as if, particularly the black community,
Wait a damn minute. What?
has a lot of hate towards the Kardashians. But the reasons sometimes, like, I understand the cultural appropriation. I definitely feel that that is something that is valid and like reasonable, but sometimes I feel like we take it too far. Kim Kardashian's recent photo, insert here, she was pretty much called out for blackface. I might just make a whole separate video about this because I feel like I can really get into it, but I didn't feel that it was blackface. I feel like so many people are like, this coon wanna be in the comments, but like, please, like, don't drive with me, please. Just give me the opportunity to express myself and to explain myself. Her skin is naturally like, it can get super tan. Will I say that I feel like she got even darker in this picture? Yes, but I feel like her tans look like this all the freaking time. You can literally find other pictures of Kim Kardashian with her skin as dark, and like nobody says anything those times, but it's like, I guess that in conjunction with other features within the photo made her look black. Another unpopular opinion, her, like, I just don't, even like with her hair, I know some people were saying like she tried to make her hair look black, but like so many people like have worn their hair in these particular styles, and like, I don't know, I just feel like that wasn't a specific example of cultural appropriation, and I feel like I can make a whole separate video on this, and I keep saying that because I feel like how I feel is very like specific, and I hope this camera, yeah, but Do you guys know what I mean? I don't want to get too much on that because I feel like I could go on and on about that. I don't want to, which kind of segues me into another thing. I don't feel, which is my next opinion, cancel culture does not work. It's ineffective. It doesn't teach anybody anything. In the end, I feel that it's making people, if anything, more ignorant. Why do you feel that way, Niyah? Because people are so quick to hop on these bandwagons of canceling people that sometimes earnestly have done nothing wrong. And it kind of scares me because there's this show called Black Mirror. Some of you guys are probably very familiar with it. And I feel as if like a lot of the themes in Black Mirror talk about how some of the ways that like we think as a society and like with technology and with like social media, the way it's impacting us and the way it's affecting us, and the way it sort of like tells this or chronicles this like alternate reality where if things keep progressing the way that they're progressing, the way it could end up being more harm for us than good. And it's just very interesting, and I really like a lot of the conversations that are brought up through it. And I feel like a lot of what in this episode called Nosedive, it kind of touched on like cancel culture and pretty much like this elitist culture that we're kind of breeding by holding people to these impossible standards. And I feel like it's sometimes too flippin' much and people just hop on it too quickly. Not everything needs to, like, honestly, I feel that at the end of the day, you have to question a person's character, and that's understandably so, especially when it comes to influencers. Literally being called influencers because they have an influence on media, they have an influence on society, they have an influence on youth, fashion, music, in some sort of way, art, because they're influencers. So it's understandable why we expect them to be educated on certain things. But it's like nowadays people are getting more and more sensitive, and it's so hard to please everyone on social media because everyone is just so sensitive and everyone has such a like just this mindset. Like it bothers me, but like at the same time I'm also, it's like I feel like I'm tolerant of certain mistakes, and I do feel like that certain things are absolutely unacceptable. But it's like, come on guys, we don't need to drag every single person that just kind of rubs us the wrong way. And I can go on and on with that because I feel like a lot of that has to do with media etiquette. People just over computer screens and over keyboards are so much more braver and bolder and problematic at times, I'll be honest, that I just kind of, I feel sometimes for influencers, and it kind of even affects me in the way in which I would personally not ever really want to be a huge influencer, because people put so much weight on your words and people put so much like pressure on you, it feels, to just be this perfect person, and it just would drive me crazy. And I'm someone who's very loose-lipped, so I don't feel that I would be good at being an influencer personally. That's just me being me, which kind of leads me to my next opinion. I don't feel James Charles did anything wrong in that whole scandal. I feel like I've just like defended two influencers in this video, but there's a reason. I feel like in that whole Tati, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, he wasn't really that involved but semi-involved situation, James Charles literally did not do anything wrong. The stuff that he got exposed for was stuff that the general public already knew. It was just reshaped as something that was like offensive, I guess. Like, he likes straight boys. That's something that has always been the case, but like now it's re-emerging as this new information and being shaped and flipped into something that honestly is not even news or tea. Like, everybody already knew this. And it's like, it goes with what I was saying about cancel culture. People were so quick to jump this boat, but especially I'll also go as far as to say I feel like our youth, because I'll say a lot of the people who probably were subscribed to him and a lot of those people who like unsubscribed were probably really, really young kids who didn't put a lot of thought into, you know, certain things, because a lot of YouTube, let's face it, is geared towards a younger audience. But it just pisses me off. Like, I don't like when people don't take the time, I don't like when people don't take the time to think about things. And I feel like people just don't think. Like, that probably sounds so egotistical, not purposefully. I'm just being honest. Like, I question things. I'm a skeptical person. And I feel like I should be. I feel like everyone, especially in today's date, should use a little bit of skepticism, especially when it comes to social media, especially when it comes to allegations of these magnitudes, like sexual harassment, predatory behavior. Like, guys, everyone should be held accountable for their behavior. I am not excusing that, but like, you have to think of how you're impacting someone's psyche when you're so quick to do these certain things. Like, I don't know, it just bothers the hell out of me. Like, I don't feel like James Charles did anything wrong. I feel like even the Jeffree Star, guys, Jeffree Star, I can really make a whole separate video on him. I don't like him. I feel like he's manipulative. I feel like he's one of the most manipulative mastermind people of it all. But I feel like he can literally go up to an old woman, stab her in her front, look in her face, smile, and say, "Hi, how are ya?" And you heifers wouldn't blink an eye. I'm screaming. You guys, it just boggles me. It just boggles me how certain people can get away with certain things, and then other people, a 19-year-old boy at that, who, yeah, his ego was out of control. Yeah, he needed to humble his behind down. I'm not gonna say that. A 19-year-old boy can get dragged and publicly humiliated and exposed by a freaking, what, how old is Tati? Is she like in her 30s? 30-something-year-old woman and man. And it just blows my mind. Like, I have a whole other conspiracy about that. I feel that it was all very tactful, and I feel it was all very deliberate, but that's just me, you guys. That's just me. I don't know. I just wasn't comfortable with the situation, and I felt so sorry for James, and I felt so bad for James. And I just recently watched one of his videos, and this isn't even like, I'm not a huge James stan, but like, I enjoy his content. I feel he's a very entertaining person and very young, ambitious talent, and it just kind of hurt me that like everything went the way it did. But yeah, another unpopular opinion. This is one that I was actually thinking about. This is the opinion. This next one is the reason why I almost wanted to make this video. I do not feel that platonic relationships with the opposite sex can work or ever really work. Let me explain and let me be a little bit more specific. I do feel that, because I feel like some of you guys are like, oh my god, let me stop doing that. I do feel that you could acquire a friendship with the opposite sex and it can genuinely be a friendship. I'm not negating that, but the point that I feel, let me cut this because this is bothering me. I do not feel that you could in the long run have a best friendship relationship with someone of the opposite sex. I'm going to tell you why. The reason I feel this way is because, okay, let me be clear. I have been on both ends of this. I have been friends with the opposite sex with someone who has been in a relationship more oftentimes than not, and I also have, like, I had never been in a relationship with someone who was really close to like a female friend, but I have talked to someone who was like really close to this particular girl. And the reason I say what I say is because I feel as if at some point, even if it's not between the two of you, you have to make a point, and I'll explain why. If you're best friends with a guy, and especially as for me, who's been in this situation where I've been really close to guys, like, I would go over to my guy friend's house and I would chill. We would like watch movies and sit in the same bed, and it's not awkward because obviously it's my friend and I'm not looking at this person this way, and I've had that relationship a lot of times. You're not going to be able to have that same rapport and that same closeness once they get into a relationship. Like, there's no way, there's no flipping way. Somebody's going to feel threatened. Somebody's going to feel like short-sighted in some way, shape, or form, and they're going to be put in this position where they have to make a decision. And I understand in a perfect world it would be like nothing would change and you guys would still be friends and it would be all these sort of things, but like realistically, that's not what happens. It's not what happens. Let's say that you're really close with the guy. Like for me, like, let's say I'm really close with this guy, right? And him and I are super close, and I feel like this is like my best friend. The moment they get into a relationship, in some way, shape, or form, our relationship is going to be compromised, because now when you were single and I was single, it was like we were just two homies, two peas in a pod, just chilling. But now there has to be these boundaries set in order to keep things appropriate and in order to keep things PG. Like, it's just not gonna be the same. It's not going to roll the same. And it's for that reason where I'm like, I really don't feel like they could work in the long run. Do I feel like when you're single and another guy's single, you guys can become really close friends? Yeah, I'll say that. But like, at some point, it's gonna change. Either you guys are gonna like morph into something different, or in some way the relationship is gonna be compromised when they actually find that person.
I want you to get my scarf, get my black purse.
Okay.
Okay, so the scarf, hoop earrings, and my black Coach purse.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Fine.
She literally could have texted me that. She literally could have texted me that. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it for the unpopular opinions, guys. I feel like I should have more, but I can't really think of anything right now, and I just don't want to pull something out of my butt that's like not something that I feel. I feel like everything that I said is very much like how I feel, like unpopular. But I'll make a part 2, and in my part 2 I may have more opinions and maybe touch on something that I said a little bit more in depth. But yeah, you guys, that's it for my unpopular opinions video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. I love talking about things that I don't like. And editing videos is probably the hardest thing for me because I just don't know exactly how to smoothly just end. But I hope you guys can bear with me, and I hope I get better at this. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Hey, keep me where the light is.